Okay, we hit something there again. Yeah. Okay, we got to turn together. I'm going to turn left. Okay.
Yeah. No one else.
90 foot. Here, Dale, let me get up.
You get out, Will?
Try to push me down there with the pipe. Okay, Krista, you hold it tight and don't let it go too far. Dale, I just push. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's the backup in case I need to stand on something else later. Let's go ahead and try to push it down a little farther while we're here. Okay, that's 100 foot in the well. Put my shoes back on. Dale, you and I can stand on it. You know, do a little jig. Okay. So we've got 100 foot of pipe in the hole, and we've had to push it down a little bit the last 20 or 30 feet because it's kind of been starting to stick up against things. Mostly it's just the sharp edge of the bottom of the pipe catching on little ledges, and we're able to cut through them and keep it pushing down. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm almost down to the bottom of the hole anyway. I only drilled to 113 feet, and I'm sure some of that filled in because I kind of moved some stuff around on the way down. So we're going to push down as hard as we can on this. If we can get it down, fine. If not, I'm going to cut it off about head high and then use my tractor bucket to push down on a little bit more so I can put all the force I can on it. The deeper I get this now, the less I have to worry about caving in on me later. So everybody grab a hold of it. We'll all see if we can put our weight on it and pull down. That seems solid.
That's something.
It moved and then it hit something solid. Let's try again. Okay. As expected. Now I know that most of you aren't going to have access to a tractor, and you can easily do a lot of damage with this by pushing down too hard and crushing the pipe and causing other trouble. But I have one, and I want to see if I can get a little bit more out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and try to push it down some. And it looks like I did. All right, so now, cool. So now I'm going to take the piece I just cut off of here, which had the bell on it. If you would hand it back to me, Dale. And now I'm going to glue this onto here after I clean it up a little bit because the tractor obviously kind of mangled it a little bit. So. You notice how it sprung back a little bit when I did that? That means it's hitting on something. Probably doesn't want to go down anymore. That's all I'm going to try to push it. Don't want to be greedy after all. So we had a little bit of a problem with the oiler last time when we were drilling. I was able to push through and get it finished, but the oiler wasn't dripping right. It would just kind of slow and stop dripping altogether. And if you loosen this screw up here a little bit, then just enough so the air could come out of it, it would start running again and then tighten the screw back down and allows some air to be cycled through the thing. But it's just a temporary fix. It would make it work for maybe 20 minutes or so at a time. The problem is that we're in a very humid area in East Texas here, and so we get tons of moisture when we compress our air, which means that this thing, the dehumidifier, fills up in a matter of about 10 minutes. We haven't always been very thorough about keeping it cleaned out. So because of that, we got water into the oil chamber. The oil and the water kind of mix and make a gloopy mess, and that is what's settled in the bottom of our chamber here. So the solution really is to unscrew this bottom cup here, drain out the oil off the top and the sludge off the bottom, and separate them, and then put the oil back in with some new oil, and then just dump out the sludge. That way we start fresh, and then from now on we'll just try to be more rigorous about keeping our water out of our chamber here. So we've got this down there and we got it cased. Now we have 105 feet in the hole that's guaranteed never to go anywhere. Almost certain nothing's ever going to happen to that. A lot of things have become easier now because now we have that sleeve down there which is not going to let water slip out the side, which means we can get water in this and not lose so much to the top surface ground. Underneath there, the water's already in the ground, and so it's not so thirsty, and so it's a lot easier to keep water in the hole. But at this point we have to redo some stuff because we took out our temporary casing, so now water can no longer get back in there to recycle. Which means we have to drill a new hole in the side of this casing and move our 2-inch pipe up into it so that the water can still recycle, because we still need to do that because we're still going to have drilling mud in there. We don't want to just dump that out on the ground. Also, I made kind of a mess with my tractor getting in here, and so I had to redig the settling pond, but you shouldn't have to do that. So I'm going to re-drill the hole with the hole saw just like I did the first time, run it in the side here. You don't want to run it in too much because you're going to have your drill going through there with a bit that's going to be just a little bit smaller than the casing. So the more you put it in there, the more likely it is going to be chip off pieces off the end of the 2-inch pipe. Also, I've had water running down here, so we're going to be starting to drill in a minute. Got the oil filled, all the usual stuff that you do before you start. And the other thing that you need to think about at this point is filling in this surface hole. You may have a big one, you may have one like this, you may have a little one, whatever. But you need to think about what to do around the pipe. Technically, this is well casing at this point because it cases down to the groundwater. So that means that you have to think about what casing requirements your local area has. You should have already checked the codes by now and have a basic idea of this in your area. Can't tell you what they are because they're different everywhere. The basic idea is that if water flows in here, or say this area here floods or water runs down from there, it can now go directly right down to the water table, theoretically bringing E. coli and salmonella and all those other icky things down into your water table. This can kill people in the long run. So this is important. You need to have something that prevents water from getting down around the casing into the well. Now if you're in a well-drained area up on a hill like I am, filling it in with dirt, packing around and putting a concrete slab around the surface probably will do the job. Where I live, that's all I have to do. But in other places, they don't care what your ground looks like. They want to have an 18-foot deep chunk of concrete around your pipe so that nothing can possibly get in between your pipe and your dirt. Other places don't need concrete, but they need bentonite clay packed around there, which will then swell and make a goopy mess that'll seal off the outside of the casing. We'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to talking about actually finishing the well with casing, because I actually haven't gotten to that point yet, because this is only our short sleeve pipe, 105 feet. But for right now, I need to fill this in so I can work around here. And so I'm going to do it the way I would do it here, which is to backfill it with dirt, and then later, before I'm actually done with the well, I'll come back and lay a concrete slab around here to keep water out of it. And I'll leave probably 2 or 3 feet around the top of the pipe here that I can dump concrete in, because I have solid clay pack about 3 feet down. So as long as I get concrete down to that, and I get dirt underneath there, and I get a concrete plug around here and then a pad, I'll have it pretty much waterproofed down to the water table. So nothing is going to pour in from the top. Plus, I'm nowhere near any barns, I'm nowhere near any septic tanks, I'm nowhere near anything that's going to actually run in, and as I said, I'm on top of a hill, so nothing's going to run down here, and it could not ever flood. But, like I said, check your local codes and do what they say, and we'll talk about that more when we get to casing.